Okay. Go ahead. This is October 30th, and we're at Dick and Lavona Spunaugle's home on Lincoln Street. So, Dick, do you want to tell us where you were born and maybe the year you were born?
1924. I was born June the 4th, 1924, at Waterville.
In the hospital over there on the
No.
corner?
At home.
And I was born in Cleveland in 1925, January 23rd.
And your maiden name?
My maiden name is Johnson. I went from Johnson to Spunaugle.
Okay, then now we'd like for you to share some about the Gypsum, your career out at the Gypsum plant, maybe the year you started, and just whatever you would like to visit with us about.
Well, I started in May of 1961, and I worked up above for just a couple of months, and I got asked if I would go to the mine. Well, little I realized that if I'd have been ever so careful, I couldn't refuse to go to the mine. They just say, hey, you're going. But I said, yeah, I'll go down and see. So I went down there. I never did come out until retired. But I liked it. I liked the appearance of the mine. Is where you make your own safety. You don't have to worry about other people. You are responsible for your own safety. And so I kind of lived by that code over the years, and it worked out real well for me.
What was the name of the mine at that point, 1961?
Festival,
Bestwall.
yes.
And that was after the fire? No. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you never did work down
No.
below.
He worked down below, what was it, just about
Well,
1 or 2 months?
I didn't work down there. I worked out in the mine from that place for a couple of months.
Oh, okay.
Then I decided if I was going to die young, why, I'd just as well keep loading rock by hand.
Okay.
And that's what he did. He loaded rock by hand for a little while, and that was just shortly after we were married.
Okay. And that was down below.
Mhm.
Okay. This would have been after the fire, so they
Oh,
were still
this is
mining.
before the fire.
Before the fire. Okay. Okay.
The fire was, what, in
59, I believe.
58, 59?
We think 59.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Who were some of the men that worked there when you first started?
Oh, boy.
was Roy Stavlin,
Oh, Roy was there, and
Lonnie Reed,
Lonnie Reed, and Bill. I can't even think of it. He lived here in town. He was a miner, a blaster.
not Paget.
No Paget after.
Ratliff,
What was Doris?
Bishop?
No.
No.
Morrow.
Why can't I say that? I know it
We
was.
might come back to you then.
Yeah. Don't
And-
stress.
Let's see, who else was it? Was that people when I first went down, or
Yeah.
all together?
When you first went down.
Your supervisor, who was he?
Brown,
No.
No.
He was a mine, or the mill superintendent.
Oh, Mr. Brown.
Kenneth
Fred
Brown.
Williams was the
Fred
mine
Williams.
superintendent.
Who was the?
Fred Williams.
Oh, Fred. Okay. Would that be Jerry Williams?
no.
Didn't he? Okay.
Fred Williams had 3 boys, Ivan and I think the little boy's name was Ross, and I can't pull the middle one out, but they were about
Dean.
rich.
Dean.
Dean, okay, they were just about our kids' age. So,
And so you loaded rock down there?
Yes.
Okay.
I loaded rock. We had a load machine, and I operated that for years.
none of the work down there when you went down into the mine the second time. Well, that way, none of it was loaded by hand, was it?
No,
It was all machinery. He had, what, undercutter? Was that there?
yeah, and a drill.
And was it called the shuttle?
That's a shuttle car to haul rock up to the belt line.
So go through the process, starting with your day. You'd go down, punch in to the time clock down
Upstairs.
upstairs.
We come in and punched in upstairs, and then went to the mine and went to work.
How did you get down in the mine?
Down the slope on a car, a cable car. It was too steep to walk very well. You could do it, and a lot of people did it. But all in all, why we had this cable car. It's about 650 feet down the slope, and that was all done. We'd get a bunch of us would get on the car in the morning, ride in, and then when the session was over the day, we'd get on that car and ride out. It was just easy in and easy out.
Where did you put your helmet on? Downstairs or upstairs? Your gear.
No, some of it was put on upstairs, but most of it was in the locker downstairs. And we just go in, and we had to wear footwear with steel toes and a helmet like all miners wear.
It has a light in front of it.
Or a battery operated
Yep.
type?
One thing nice about him working in the mine, I didn't have to worry about refrigeration or any food because it was cool enough that when he took it in the morning, we knew it would be safe at noon for him to eat. So lunch meat sandwiches or anything like that would stay nice.
It's 65 degrees down there the year round.
So, did you have a break before your lunch time, or?
Yes,
Okay.
we'd have a short break. They kind of got carried away with the break, and sometimes that was as long as a noon hour.
Oh.
There was a break in the morning and also one in the afternoon.
How many were on the crew then? Like
There
a
was
shift?
about 16. Pretty close to that number.
And then after your day ended, probably about 3 o'clock or
3:30.
3:30.
We had to be up there in a room where we all ate lunch by 3 o'clock.
Oh.
So we could punch a clock out upstairs at 3:30. And they finally wised up and moved that clock downstairs.
Oh.
So that you'd come in on your own time and go out on your own time. Otherwise, why, it managed about half to 3/4 of an hour of wasted time.
So you get down there, what did you do immediately? How did you start work?
Well, we all gathered in our lunchroom where we put on our things that we had to wear. I mean, like extra, like our helmet or our light. We picked up our light in the mine and more of that, and then we'd sit around until about 7:15, and then we would proceed to go to the face and go to work.
The face means where the rocket was. The crusher had its place to go. Each one had their own
Station,
station that they had to work at.
Oh, individual?
yeah.
So there would have been 16 different stations down there?
Well, each
Or-
one, see one undercutter
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and one shuttle, no, two shuttle cars, right?
Yeah, then
Okay, so
And
everybody-
one loader,
2 drillers.
two drillers, and a roof man.
okay.
The roof man would always check the roof and see if it was safe.
Part of the time there was 2 roof men.
So, and the
Utility people. How many does that count?
Well, that was 8, and then utility people are 1 or 2 or
2 most
2,
of the time.
that's 10.
And
and the you did the,
Crusher Man, he was there by himself.
you did the, oh, what do you call it, when the, picking it up?
Running loader.
The loader.
Okay.
That was something to see. It had just like two big arms that would go out and get the rock. And the rock would go up on a belt line or, you know, or
First it
chain.
would go back on the chain, conveyor chain,
Okay.
and into the shuttle car. And then the shuttle car had a drag chain in it that would bow it back. You push a lever and it would move back, the rock, and then string it out in the shuttle car. And they averaged about, around 10 ton on it.
Then when one shuttle car would get full, the other one would back up. And while the other one shuttle car is taking it up to the face to unload it, not upstairs, just
it's a phase.
up
okay.
to the crusher more or less, the other shuttle car would back in there. And when one shuttle car would drive up there, when he got emptied, he just swung the seat around, right?
Yeah, you get on, there's
And-
two seats facing each other.
Mm.
And go in one direction, you ride one seat, and go in the other direction, you rode the other seat.
Oh.
And the steering wheel was on a tip that you would hit a lever down there and tip the wheel towards yourself.
Who drove those? Do you remember?
Oh,
Did Bob Lee drive one?
yeah, Bob, Chester Isaacson, Bob Lee, most anybody that was free that they'd fill in case they needed to fill in. I drove
You-
one of them for 2 years after that I wasn't running the load machine.
Did you have a nickname for that loading machine?
You wouldn't want to hear it.
Okay.
A lot of them, they had different names.
So then in your lunchroom, did you have certain places that you,
Yes, we had lunch, we had picnic tables down there.
okay.
And just certain people sat around certain table.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of kept that going.
And when they got through eating lunch, some of them had a real nice time laying down on the hard bench and go take a little nap
Oh.
before they went back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Weir was our mechanic
Okay.
in the mine.
Pretty good mechanic.
He was a good mechanic if you could stand his language.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's a character, huh?
He was, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Blue Rabbits had a lot of characters.
Oh, they did have a lot of. So that's going to be another video all in itself, right?
Yes.
Oscar also made up words, right? It was like, maybe could he not remember the actual name of the thing and then he would make up, or?
You mean with a cuss word, yeah.
Well, I was thinking I'd heard not cuss word necessarily, but just his nicknames for things that, instead of calling it by the real name.
It's hard to tell what he'd call it.
Now, were they allowed to smoke down there?
Yes.
Okay. Did it get pretty loud at times?
Well, it was always kind of loud with those shuttle cars running big diesel motors. There's 100 horsepower, and it took all their power to load that car. So you know how the smoke would pour out of them, just like any diesel truck you see out here on the road. When they start up a hill, how they smoke. Well, those things smoked all the time they loaded them.
But were they in the scrubbers?
They had water scrubbers on it. The
That-
exhaust had to go through this water, but that didn't hold it down. That was better than straight out, but
So did you wear protective ear coverings or?
there at last we did.
But at the beginning it wasn't. Huh?
No.
Uh-huh.
He also wore a mask that over his nose, and they were the type, if you noticed on the TV that they were showing which mask was right and which was wrong for out here at the when California had the fire, and they were showing which ones were the right mask. That was the ones that he was wearing down there. It had the two fillers, one on each side.
Oh, okay.
And each one of those fillers had a catcher mask in front of it, a waffle kind of thing. And you'd work all day. You change those things every day. Then they'd be black
Oh,
There was a white disc inside of them that they had to go through,
on
Oh.
the filter.
and that white would be black. When he would come home, he had white T-shirts underneath his outfit, and I never could get them white. They would always be a dingy gray. They never would stay white because the smoke or whatever it was, the dust out there, would penetrate everything. He'd bring his jacket home to wash about maybe once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'd wash it over the weekend so he could take it back. And he always wore a jacket.
oh, uh-huh.
A blanket-lined jacket and worked in it. Hardly ever took it off. There's some of them once in a while would get out of their coat, like roofmen if they was working on the roof.
You said the degrees down there was 68, wasn't it, in the 50s?
65.
65.
But if you're just sitting, you could get cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you came out of that temperature, then, like, well, we know in the summertime it gets pretty hot here. Was it hard to acclimate your body
Well,
back
for
to
the
that?
first hour, when I'd come out of there, I didn't do anything. I'd feel my arms like that, and it's just cold
Oh,
Climby.
and clammy. And it always took me about an hour to acclimate to the weather.
did you have air conditioning at the house at that time?
We had one air conditioner. Well, not for a long time we didn't have air conditioning. We had used fans, we had an exhaust fan. But later years, Joe, we've got an air conditioner and we have a whole house exhaust fan now.
Yes.
So,
But, that would almost be better
But-
if, I mean, there's a lot of temperature changes within your body.
Yep.
but he farmed too, so he would come out and take about an hour, hour and a half, and then head for the farm.
Okay.
So,
Where was this farm located?
at one time there was one out between here and Frankfurt, and then south of number 9, about 2-3 miles.